Hello everybody, it's just Amen519 here, and today we're going to be talking about fighter characters in Dislyte. Now, we all know that in these teams where you make a team composition and you take on a stage, doing damage is pretty important, defeating the enemy pretty important. There are a few scenarios in Dislyte where I can see that you might not bring a DPS at all, potentially a really gimmicky stage in tower, I could see that. Or maybe if you try the full-on Jacob cheese, APAP, and 12-8. Those are scenarios I can see happening. Though even in those scenarios with Jacob, I still think you're gonna bring at least one DPS to actually take care of the first two waves. Because, with 12-8 you might not, because you're just like, you know what, I just want to get through it and do it once and never look back. But APAP you want to farm, so, like that. Now, I do want to say one thing beforehand. It's very difficult for me to know which characters are fighters by definition, because it's an in-game role, right? You are a fighter character. But the official website doesn't actually show what role the character is, from what I could see, which is pretty sad. And here on the website that I usually use, playdislyte.com, it doesn't say either. It just says the word you can look for DPS, because here, if you look, like, it says like DPS, right? And it's like, that's nice and all, but like here, let's look, White Tiger, right? If anybody is fighter, it's her, but it doesn't say fighter. So I'm just going to assume that everybody here who has DPS as their role, which is not everybody here, by the way, but most people here who actually have DPS as their role are fighter characters. So we're going to be talking about my 4 favorite ones from over here. So let's go right into it. Now, you guys cannot actually see the tabs that I have on the top right. They're shortened down here. I can show you guys for a second. Over there, but we're not going to look at them yet. We're going to, first of all, do an honorable mention, because this will be my own personal experience. I don't have Sander, I don't have the twins, I don't have Lewis yet, I don't have Li Ling, I have Lu Yi, but I don't have him build up. I still don't count Gabriel as an actual fighter. I know the website says that Gabriel is a fighter, but I do not count her for that at all. I don't have Hades, so these are just going to be characters that I've used, that I have had a lot of fun with. So first of all, I want to bring out an honorable mention over here, which is Chloe. Chloe, I have used her as a friend unit, right? And she is quite fun. I'm enjoying using her a lot. However, I don't have her, so I can't give a proper verdict, right, on, where she would be for me if I actually pulled her and was building her up. Not just where maybe some person who was, like, way behind or way ahead of me in game progress, where Darius is. But yeah, overall, she really fun, attacks a target 2 times, each hit dealing 70% of attack with a 50% chance to steal 1 buff. Stealing buffs is amazing. Launches 4 strikes at random enemies, each strike dealing damage equal to 75% of her attack. If the target isn't buffed, then inflict buff blocker for 2 turns. Which is really good. Buff blocker is always nice, especially in stuff like PvP, if you can, like, I don't know. But then again, in PvP, a lot of people run Adamantian as well, so, like, it wouldn't work, I guess. And launches 5 strikes at random enemies, each dealing damage equal to 90% of, 90% of her attack, I assume, plus 10% of her attack per buff she carries on her, and stealing 2 buffs from the target. I still don't know if this means from all targets, or from a single target, or from the target that was targeted when the attack was launched, because if it's 2 from every target, that's insane. But yeah, overall, I like using her. She's really fun. I don't have her yet. I pray that when Ollie comes out tomorrow or something. Yet, I think it's tomorrow. Fuck, I hope I can actually pull her. I hope I can pull Sander. There's a bunch of I hope I can pull the new 4-stars as well. But yeah, for now, that was Chloe. Now let's get over to my top 3. So we're going to be looking at Drew first. Now, Drew is a character that I really, really, really enjoy. Let's go for what he does real quick. He strikes a target dealing 130% of his own attack and damage. If critical hit is triggered, reduces the cooldown of Death Judgment by 1 turn. We'll get to Death Judgment in a second. His second skill deals damage to an enemy equal to 220% of the attack and 85% chance of inflicting defense down for 2 turns. Really good. Right, every 2 turns he can do this, and overall, just really good. Chai over there with him, he can basically do this every single turn. It's amazing. Because some people don't know, lowering enemies' defense is huge in this game. Next up, deals damage to an enemy equal to 260% of his own attack. If the target dies, perform a bonus attack against a random enemy dealing 150% of his own attack. However, the bonus attack can be triggered up to 2 times within a cooldown. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to also say something about him ignoring the enemy's defense. Yeah, well, this website isn't... I need to find like a better website because this one isn't up to date at all. When is it ascended? Let me check. Yes, when ascended, he actually deals on the additional hits. He ignores the defense of enemies, which is really, really, really useful. Which makes up for him not doing as much damage on the secondary hits. Which overall, I like using Drew. He's a free-to-play. Not a free-to-play. Technically, you can get him from Ripples, but he is more rare than like an empty Yasuya party, I swear. I've only seen one of him so far. But yeah, he's a 3-star, so you can get max resonance on him very quickly. If you run him with units like Dahlia or Chai, you know, who can build up crits for him, he doesn't need that much crit himself. Crit damage on him is insane. Cleaving characters with him is insane. He's just super fun, right? I really enjoy using him. If you are looking for a good Inferno DPS or a good 3-star DPS in general, and you're in early game still, and you're like, you know, I can't work up somebody's DPS because they're good against bosses later on, but right now they're not that useful for me. Drew is useful at any point in the game, right? At any point in the game. People who like auto APAP 10 or Chronos 10 with full free-to-play teams have used this man. And I have seen people who are doing full 3-star accounts, by the way. Shout out to you guys, by the way, who are doing that. I've seen people trying to do that, and Drew is also huge for a lot of them. So let's move over to my second favorite unit, my second favorite DPS in the game, which is Sun Wukong, Tang Xuan. Now, I really like this person. At first, I thought he was a girl because there was translation errors when the game first came out, basically saying that this was a girl. But now I know better. But yeah, overall, he's a very, very strong unit, right? I think he's really good. A lot of people were talking shit on him when Global came out because you could get either him or what is his name again? Yeah, Li Ling. And I would agree that Li Ling is a better unit than Sun Wukong, right? I 100% agree. But I feel like just because Li Ling was better than him, you know, people started talking major shit about it, even though it's a really, really, really good Esper. Now, let's get over what he does. So, yeah, you really want to run, like, regen on him. He's insane. But, yeah. Deals damage equal to 120% of the attack to a target, plus damage equal to 50% of attack to 2 random enemies. Grants a Scorch, Death, or Shackle enchantment prior to each attack for 1 turn. Imbues damage with all current enchantments. We'll get to that in a second. Let's see. Next up, actually we can go in there in a second. Yeah. Absorbs all current enchantments that he gets from his 3rd skill, and grants a shield with strength equal to 10% plus 5% of them, equal to 10%. Okay, plus 5% of max HP per enchanted absorbed for 2 turns. So basically, it's 10% of max HP at a max of 25, because you can have 3 enchantments on you at a time. Attacks an enemy dealing damage. You have all 3 of them on you at the time anyway, because they all have the same like cooldown before they go away. Attacks an enemy dealing damage equal to 200% of his attack. This attack restores HP equal to 10% of the caster's max HP per absorbed enchantment. In short, he basically heals himself back to max with this, and he has shield on top of it. Congratulations, he will not die now. Next up, we have his 3rd skill, which is an AoE, grants Scorch, Death, and Shackle enchantment for 2 turns before attacking all enemies twice, each dealing damage equal to 60% of attack. Very important to note that it's before attacking, so the enchantments already have taken effect on the AoE attack. Now, what do these things do? First of all, really nice captain ability as well. Scorch inflicts disease for 2 turns upon damaged targets. Death inflicts additional damage equal to 5% of target's max HP under 50% of attack upon dealing damage. Very nice. And Shackle has a 40% chance to inflict defense down for 2 turns upon damaging Shackle. Another AoE defense down. And remember, he keeps this until they either expire after 2 turns or you absorb them with your skill too. So you can use this, then use this. This gives everybody a 40% chance for defense down. This gives three people a 40% chance of defense down. Here you absorb it again, and then you can loop it all the way back. It's so good, dude. Like, if you give this unit like a Hades set, like, he doesn't die, right? Like, I have a proper, well, not proper build up, but I had him good enough build up, right? Good enough. This man doesn't die first, right? He will die later on, but I have had so many runs where he is just the last person alive, which is absolutely amazing, right? Now, the issue with him is that he doesn't fit in a lot of teams, right? You have other characters who do more damage, and sure, they will not survive as long as him, but they can do more damage to the point where it doesn't really matter because they'll kill Kronos or APAP by that time, or well, Kronos because you're not fighting APAP with this man. Well, no, you can actually fight APAP with this man. Yeah, you can fight APAP with him. Yeah, you can. But yeah, you have other options which kill the bosses way faster. That's the issue with him. He's good in Point War though. I have enjoyed using him there. I'm sure in like endgame Point War he isn't useful, but freaking most of the cast gets their ass kicked in a proper fight in endgame Point War. If you're not farming for the people who just put a bunch of like a bit of star mons in there. But yeah, I wanted to put some respect on Sun Wukong's name because like so much disrespect to my boy. Even though he doesn't deserve any of it. He is a great Esper. Honestly, great Esper. And if you got him as your first Esper, do not be disappointed. He does amazing. I'm sure I could bring him into Chronos 10 if I build a team with him, and I could win. I can guarantee it. Especially now that I'm actually able to auto it. Alright, then my final favorite DPS, by far, is Lingchao, the White Tiger. I love this unit. I have had this unit since first week. I pulled them. I didn't know she was good. I didn't even understand that shimmers were rare back then. The first week I started playing, by the way, not the first week the game came out. I started a little bit later in the first week. But yeah, she's absolutely insane. She destroys Kronos. She does so good against APAP. Like, here is the thing. Remember when I mentioned Jacob Cheese, where you want to bring a DPS still to take care of the first 2 waves? Well, she can actually do that. She can do enough damage to survive with, Why would you want only War Machine? Okay, I'm personally running Hades on her, right? Because she heals herself by a frick ton, right? And having Hades on her usually means that if I have Hades on her and Drew, that the supports can kind of focus on healing each other up and making sure that they stay safe. And then the AoE heal comes in when everybody ends up needing a little bit of it, right? So I personally run Hades on her. I like Hades on her. I think it works great. I do agree though with the Avatar right here. I get why you want more HP on her. I get it, because she can be quite squishy, but Avatara is so good. Avatara and Hades, you just heal your damage back. Who cares? Now let's get into what she does, right? Oh boy, we'll get into this. Deals damage equal to 150% to an enemy with an 80% chance to inflict disease. Once again, disease allowing it so that the enemy can no longer get healed, which is useful in tower actually. Except later on, whenever stopping people from healing is actually useful, they just put somebody in there who can cleanse it, and of course speed priority will make them do it first because screw you. Deals damage to an enemy equal to 230% of the attack, huge. Adding 2 bleed debuffs that last 2 turns. If this hit is a crit, then inflicts another 2 bleed debuffs that last 2 turns. Now this is insane, and why this is insane is the third skill. She grants herself 3 stacks of Tiger Roar, deals damage to all enemies equal to 100% of her attack, with an 80% chance to inflict speed down and defense down. This is not accurate. She has max ability mon. She has 30% chance to lower enemy speed or 40% chance, one of the two, and a 60% chance to lower their defense. They're individual procs. They are not 80%. It might be 80% to just trigger any of them to happen. Fair enough. But yeah, no. Now, what does Tiger of Roar do? Now, I'm gonna quickly pull this up here because, once again, it's difficult to find websites that give, like, all the needed details for this game this early on. Yeah, reduces speed as oh, no, wait. Oh, no. Sorry. Not a 30% chance to proc. I'm dumb. What I tried to say was 80% chance to trigger is correct. But the speed down is by 30% and the defense down is by 60%. So they're not both like 30% speed and defense down or whatever, right? It's 30% speed and 60% defense down. That's what I wanted to say. Next, so basically, each stack gets a stack of this gets used up every time she attacks, and when a stack is used up, that hit will be a guaranteed crit. So now you see why this is absolutely insane, right? Because she gets guaranteed crits on this, she gets guaranteed crits on her avatar counter attack. It has a 3-turn cooldown. Bring Unki Chai and she spams this like crazy. Honestly, it's absolutely insane. Even if you count the Avatar counterattack triggering once, you'll get this back in time. Or maybe not, but still, you'll be close to it, right? And you basically build her with full crit damage. You build her with full crit damage. She gets a 100% chance to crit 3 times with this. You don't need crit rate on her. You don't. The only reason you would need... I still say keep a little bit of crit rate on her, but not as a main stat. Because there will be scenarios where you use her skill 3 on auto, and then you switch to the next phase, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown, and you don't have it, and you know, that little bit of crit rate might come in clutch. But... dude, just trust me on this. She does so much damage, it's dumb. Ask anybody, anybody would want this unit. Anybody who doesn't have this unit would like this unit. She is a top tier unit to just bring on everything and anything in the game. Maybe not Fuff, but I haven't really fought Fafnir enough to, like, you know what he needs. But outside of Fafnir, she is useful everywhere. Tower, Chronos, APAP, Point War. She is amazing, right? Now, these were my 3 favorite attack espers. What are your guys' favorite attack espers from your own experience in the game? And the reason I'm phrasing it like that is because I don't want to hear, you know, everybody saying like, oh, well, my favorite is Hades because he solos every... No. You know, if you have him, you can say it, obviously. But I want to hear you guys' top 3 favorite fighter or DPS characters in the game that you own and why. Or maybe some moment where you say, like, you know, this unit might not be top tier, but he clutched up this one really good fight for me in tower, and that's why he's my favorite, right? They don't have to be the best, but your favorite, and I would love to read them in your guys' picks and reasons why in the comment section down below. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next Dislyte video. Bye bye.